Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live for the debate show. It's been a while. You know what I mean, since we've discussed the United in a debate show. And yeah, man, we're looking to chop it up again. Big game tomorrow. Big game, man. Must-win game. I don't know if there's anyone out there that isn't saying it's a must-win game, but for me, it's a must-win game. And for us to discuss it here today, we've got Michael in the building. Michael, it's been a while, man. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, bro.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for having me on. Hope you're doing well. Make sure you guys hit all the like button. Yeah, let's discuss Man United. Not the happiest thing to discuss at this moment, but discussions always have had to be had about them. So let's do it.
Yeah, man. Definitely, man. Definitely. Sunny, it's good to have you back as well. Hope you've been good. Hope you've been well
No,
since we've last spoke.
no, of course. Thank you for having me on again. I was there. I was meant to be there on Tuesday actually, but I was feeling a bit under the weather, so I couldn't go. Just like our beloved Man United, so probably a blessing in disguise. But I'm well, and as Michael said, make sure to smash a like and subscribe as always, people.
Yeah, man. Definitely, man. And we finally got Danny, man. Elon's been playing him well over there in the spaces, so we had to grab him out of the spaces and, you know what I mean, and get him in here, man. You know what I mean. How you been, Danny? How's everything been? What are you saying, man? You look to chop it up.
I'm good, man. Listen, once Elon started paying out, I had to stay on Twitter. There's no escaping. Do you know what I
Nah,
mean?
fair. Fair. I hear you, man. I hear you. Go and get that bag, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? But yeah, man, hopefully Usman should be joining us back as well. He just dropped out as well. So hopefully Usman could join us. But yeah, lads, I'm pretty sure everybody here is feeling that it's a must-win game um today. I mean, start off with you, Michael. Tomorrow, man. How big is it tomorrow, man? When you deep it, bro. Tomorrow's a big game, innit?
Yeah, I mean, it's a must win. I don't remember the last time we lost 3 games at Old Trafford in a row. I generally don't remember the last time like we actually done
I don't
that.
know as well.
Must be a long time. Obviously also international breaks coming up after the game, so you don't want to have another loss going at international break because then the rumor mill is going to start cranking up a lot, especially with Ten Hag. And the thing is, like, we've lost a lot. We haven't had like the best results, right? But like usually when we're like poor, we're just like pouring every asset of the game, building up like everything. But now we're like, you can see the good things, but the results aren't happening, which makes this like a little different than other poor times. Like under Ragnick's, like say for example, Ragnick's United, there was nothing to look forward to. But now like you have the Hoyland of it, for example. Obviously he's coming off the brace, so you want to see him kind of continue that kind of scoring run because he hasn't scored in the Premier League yet, I believe. So he scored in the Champions League, so he's adjusting to that level well. But I want to see how he adjusts like the Premier League level against Premier League defenses because it is a little different. So it is a must win. Obviously, good performance. Hopefully, we see a couple, maybe like a Regulon back because I don't want to see Emmer back at the left back again. So that'd be nice to see a natural left-footed left back. And yeah, just must win because, like I said, the rumor mill. We all know how much they want to like talk about us. And if Ten Hag loses another game at home, going international break, that's kind of when you hear the sack him and all that kind of stuff.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Big up Usman here in the building. Sonny, man, I think Ten Hag's come out in a press conference saying the levels have dropped. You know what I mean? We've dropped levels and we have to get back to those levels. There are reasons for, but still it's not acceptable. So he knows the levels have dropped massively. Yeah, we didn't think it would be that to this level, man. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've seen it to this level, but where are you now with United, bro? How is your kind of feeling right now with everything that's going on?
Well, put it this way: every game that we see these days, I'm not confident whatsoever. This is probably going from the Spurs game. Actually, I don't normally go against Manchester United in terms of predictions. I thought we were going to lose that game. Then Arsenal thought we were going to lose that game. Brighton at home, I actually said Brighton were going to win that game 2-1. It's not good to be going into games thinking your own team's going to lose because of the way it is. And going into this game against Brentford, although what Michael's saying has some valid points in terms of going into the international break, you don't want the rumour mill starting. The only blessing is, say if we don't win tomorrow, for example, against Brentford, I think we'll draw that game personally. But say if we don't win that game tomorrow, the only blessing is it is international break. You don't need any other games coming up after that. That's the only blessing. But it's not good, man. Like, you want to go to Manchester United, especially if you're going to the games with a lot of confidence. You're buoyant. You want to see the team play well. And when you keep losing games, especially at home like that, it's not good. And I mean, it doesn't help when you watch games and all those stats come out about which records being broken that, and a lot of it's coming onto Ten Hag because obviously he's the manager and the buck does stop with him. But a lot of these players do need to realize that they need to turn up themselves and have some accountability. And a lot of these players don't show that as well. And it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. I think the pressure does need to come off Ten Hag as well. He does need to take blame. It's a bit of both. But all I'm saying is anyone that goes to Brentford on Saturday, just get behind the team because they need us at this point.
It's difficult. It's difficult to get behind them, man. Danny, when the performances drop like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially for me, I was more angry about the players than the manager on Wednesday because of the way the management of the game, man. You can't micromanage players to defend better. Like, come on, it's just leaving man behind, defensive line all over the place. I mean, sometimes I can blame the manager, but Wednesday wasn't it. But again, the manager will have to take the blame because he's overseeing everything, man. But right now, where do you kind of look at the problems right now? Like, how do you assess Man United right now and where the problems are for you? Like the main detail of the problems.
There's too many problems, but like there's so many problems, but people will say they're excuses. But there's loads of problems. There's loads of them. Where I am right now, though, is before what game was it? I want to say after the Bayern game. I was one of those fans looking at the run of fixtures leading up to City, rubbing my hands like, yeah, we can get some jobs here. But I ain't doing that no more. It's game by game. It's literally like cliche, but it's game by game. Like, do you know what hit me? Because at first, my first reaction after that loss to Galatasaray was I was angry at Ten Hag in particular. And when I fell back, gathered my thoughts, watched the game again, looked at certain things, mostly angry at the players. And my big takeaway was these guys are self-sabotaging. They will find a way to mess it up, Saeed. You go 1-0 up. Dallow's been in great form. He's been in good form. Easily probably our best player the last, 3-4 games? Where did that come from? Well, you can't defend the basic long ball and let it bounce and go into your penalty box. Then you look at the reaction of Victor Lindelof and Varane around him. They couldn't have prevented that goal, but their reaction told me they'll just leave their teammate. They're not proactive. They're not switched on. They're not decisive. They're indecisive. Then you see the second goal side from a throw-in. You don't know how to. Why does Ten Hag have to babysit you? You're 2-1 up. The halftime substitution worked. Eriksen's had a decent impact, to be fair. And you need your manager to hold your hand to organise from a throw-in. One throw-in and your fullback is pulled out of position. Lindelof getting spun the wrong way after a little duel. What's Ten Hag supposed to do? What's he supposed to do about those two things? I could question his game management from 2-2. Maybe he should have took off Casemiro. Even with the lineup, maybe not start Bruno right away. And there's a few things for sure. But these players, they'll self-sabotage. They'll self-sabotage. You saw that against Palace. First 20 minutes, not too bad. Concede at a set piece. Bayern Munich, better team for the first 15, 20 minutes. Onana mistake. So it's game by game. I was making a joke earlier on. I was taking bets. I said the structure. Who do you think's gonna self-sabotage next? Take a bet. Pick the player. Can't trust them. You can have your issues with the coach, the project overall, blah blah blah. But these players, these players are embarrassing. They're embarrassing.
Big up to Chow. Sorry, he says big up panels. I have huge questions about Erik Ten Hag if we lose tomorrow against Brentford. I mean, Usman, we'll go to you, man. Like tomorrow, it's unthinkable to even lose tomorrow, man. I think a draw's a bad result as well. It doesn't really. We need to win. You know what I mean, and just get into international break, and then with a little bit of no distractions over international break, it should be head down, no stories. You know what I mean? Like, but if you lose tomorrow, I don't know, man. There's a lot of people that could turn tomorrow just because of the nature of Brentford. They're not playing great this season. I think they've not won in 5. They got massive injuries as well. They've got a lot of injuries out. Left backs out. I think Ben Mee's out. Ivan Toney's out. There's a lot of key players for them injured. So it's not just only us that have injuries, man. So if you can't beat Brentford, man, I mean, there's no hope, man. There is literally no hope.
I mean, to be honest, firstly, thank you for having me on as always, man. It's a pleasure, my guy. But
big up.
God, it's frustrating. Obviously, we were talking before, obviously went on stream. I just think for me personally, as a fan, I just feel demoralised. I mean, It's just simple mistakes. I think Danny summed it up perfectly. I think a lot of people were getting onto Ten Hag after the game, and just for me, look, at the end of the day, there are things about Ten Hag that I don't agree with. I don't agree with him selecting the same players, expecting different outcomes. You know, I'm a strong believer of, you know, change when change is needed, and I think, you know, quite clearly that whatever he's doing isn't working. So by all means, change something. If it means taking off my favorite player or XYZ's favorite player, it's completely irrelevant, because we need to change something to obviously bring about a different outcome. But, you know, they're different things. Obviously, in-game management, you can question these things. But I'm sorry, the goals we conceded were absolutely embarrassing. And you don't see those goals in Sunday League. I mean, the first goal from Delo, obviously Danny alluded to obviously Lindelof and Varane, their lack of awareness as well. But I've got to be honest, although that there is probably truth in that, I've got to be honest, it's absolutely inexcusable. Delo, they probably just thought he's got this. They probably didn't even second guess him not being able to deal with the long ball. I mean, the fact that he lets it bounce is already a mistake. I just don't understand where that's come from. Like Danny said as well, he's been class. I think he's been one of our best players the last 2-3 games. I think he's been solid. You know, he's been in the top 3 for me in terms of performances, and it was just absolute schoolboy defending. I mean, it's completely inexcusable, letting it bounce and then getting bullied like that on your own turf by Zaha, man. That's just, I'm sorry, man. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And then the second goal, again, a throw-in. You can't be defending like that. It's amateur. It's absolutely amateur. And as soon as they scored the second goal to put it 2-2, I knew we'd lost. I just knew it. They've got no backbone. This team's got absolutely no backbone and no spine whatsoever. We got very fortunate that Icardi missed the penalty, and then eventually he does get his goal. And Onana, of course, that fault for the third one, in my opinion. He's got to stand his ground, but ultimately Amrabat obviously playing everyone on side as well. But it's just a catalogue of errors, and it's not the first game. You know, there's been numerous games I've been very critical of Maguire, you know, through his tenure at Manchester United, but Maguire's not starting. So who are you going to blame now? So, like, for me personally, you know, I've been extremely critical of Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, De Gea, XYZ. None of those players started. So what's the issue now? The same mistakes, different players. So for me, there's something deeper with this team. I swear to God, like, it doesn't even matter at this point. The way I see it, I don't actually care who starts in the back line, because they won't keep a clean sheet anyways. They're not going to keep a clean sheet. You can start anyone in the back line. I actually think it's in a pointless conversation, because the only way they keep a clean sheet is if the opposition is toothless, like Wolves were against us. When they absolutely battered us and we somehow got a clean sheet against them. It's not going to be based on merit. It's not going to be because we deserved or warranted the clean sheet. It's going to be the opposition can't take their chances. So for me, the defense has been a shambles, but honestly, the midfield as well, it needs to be sorted. I can't be dealing with players being shoehorned into positions in 2023. We've been seeing it every manager post Fergie shoehorning players into positions. We saw it with Pogba and Bruno. Obviously, them two both, you know, to be fair, they had good moments together, in particular when Matic was there. But after Matic was, you know, his legs were gone, so to speak. After that period, the midfield, it hasn't been the same. Since Matic and Herrera provided the balance, we've never had a midfield balance. I can't think of one midfield for me that I thought, no, what, this midfield actually works in tandem together. Like, they're actually trying to help each other. Like, the midfield, it's like 3 different players trying to play a different game. You got Casemiro thinking he's Cruz and Modric. Like, I don't understand what he's doing. Like, I love the guy to bits, but what are you doing? Just keep it simple. We've got Bruno losing the ball. Eriksen, to be fair to him, he did have a good game, but overall his legs ain't there. It's just an absolute shambles. And for me, the biggest issue with Ten Hag is, I know he sees this. He's a smart guy. He's shown it. And he's a tactician. He's shown that he's a clever guy. But I don't know why he keeps picking the same players when he knows nothing's going to change. So that's my biggest issue at the moment. Obviously, regarding the Brentford game tomorrow, man. And Buemo on the counter attack. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, the transition, man. You know what I mean? It's difficult, man. I got a question here for why is he playing Sofian Amrabat at left back? Well, he hasn't got any options. You know what I mean? He hasn't got any options to play.
He has, man.
You
He
know,
has. One, man.
who would you put?
I'll say this now. Listen, see that game that I saw? Yeah. If you're playing Lindelof, Evans, or Maguire at left back, they can make the mistakes that Amrabat made.
Exactly. Thank you.
So you think it's structural changes then? Structurally, we're bad.
He's got his two first team fullbacks injured. Got a guy on loan, he got injured. So it's not like he benched all his fullbacks and played Amrabat there. I'm just saying, when it comes to that one particular thing, cut Ten Hag a little bit slack. When it comes to him not dropping players, by the way, there's only 3 players you can mention: Rashford, Bruno, and Casemiro. The goalkeeper don't even start there. None of you have watched the second choice goalkeeper. Yeah, that's just hype.
I think
No
he
one's
should
watched
be
it.
no. I think
No one
Onana.
from
I
them.
would
No one
drop the
from
goalkeeper
them.
as well,
Nah, but
Danny.
it's
I
not
can't
about
lie.
we watched though.
Saeed,
It's not
no
about
one
that.
I would drop
He
him
is
as well,
costing us
Danny, bro. I
games.
can't lie.
I know you're the Gea guy, yeah, and that's just a joke. Just
I'm
a
not.
big shot,
Listen,
yeah.
I wanted
But
a new keeper.
look, let's just be balanced. Everybody else, through injury or form, has actually been dropped. There's only 3 players: Rashford, Bruno, Casemiro. Everyone else has been rotated and dropped through injury and form. That's a fact. Ericsson came back
Would
in.
you not
after
drop
what,
Onana then? Would you not drop Onana?
I'll let someone else take that, man.
No, but I'm asking you a question though.
I'll let
I think-
someone else. I'm going to end up speaking for 10 minutes, but I'll let someone else take it.
Yeah, let's.
No, but I feel like for me though, what it is with us United fans is that we think players are not undroppable. Onana is costing us games. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes you can stand by your man and give him the confidence, or you can actually protect him. Onana needs protecting right now, and I wouldn't play him on Saturday. I would put Bayenda in there and let him see what he's about, and let's see what we can do with him.
Right, I was
Listen,
going
he
to
might
stay
not
on
be
mute. I'm
great.
not going to stay on mute now. What you blame Onana for the goals that we conceded against Galatasaray?
The third
Yeah.
one is Danny. Come on, man. That third
All right,
one.
so
Yes.
the third one, yeah. All right, this is my
Are
issue.
you kidding
This is my
me?
issue. Wait. Right, he goes down too early. By the way, he's not good. Let me tell you now, he's not good 1v1. You'll see more of that. My issue is
Yeah, I
this.
know that. I know that.
You're not wrong in criticizing him when the strikers threw him goal and should score. You're not wrong. He went down too early. My issue
early, yeah.
is, did you see how we gave up that chance? And you want to focus on the goalkeeper. Saeed, go on, when Amrabat kicks the football,
Sancho
when I
heads
tell
it.
you there is not one body in the center of the football pitch,
I
you've
know
got
that.
backline,
I know
20
that.
yards of grass, and then a front line. And you want to blame the goalkeeper for that situation? Come on.
No, but you know what it is though. Don't play the passive. It's not there. Like he didn't need to do that.
I'm
And
just
for
talking
me,
about
he's not
Onana.
saving.
I know he goes down early, but like the guy's 1-on-1. He should score. If that's us, you don't care that like if Rashford misses that, you don't care that the goalkeeper did this or did that. You're 1-on-1. You should score anyway.
No, but then you have to have an element of me. If I'm a United fan right now, I'm looking at Onana. I'm thinking he's actually costing us games. And listen, I think Onana will be a good keeper in the future, maybe. But right now, as it stands here, he's costing us games. I would therefore drop him. I'm just looking at it logically. Onana right now is in bad form, and right now he needs to be dropped. Bayenda needs to come in. Any other, if Courtois was playing like this, yeah, I bet you any money Carlo Ancelotti would bring in another keeper. But then when it's Man United, it's like, we have to stick by him. Let's stick by our players. No, it's, you know what? We drop him for the greater good of the team. Bayenda comes in. When Romero was remember when De Gea was out of form or the manager didn't like him? Romero came in for a little bit. What happened after that? De Gea came in and had his best years at Old Trafford. Do you remember that? De Gea was probably the best keeper in the world under Van Gaal. He became a better keeper for it. It could be the same with Onana. We don't know yet. But for me, he needs to come out the firing line. That's just my honest opinion. I don't know if anyone believes anyone backing, is anyone backing Danny in this? Anyone saying Onana should stay?
I think it's
Oh,
3v2 side.
I
Me and you agree.
Bro, I don't even know who this Turkish guy is. Like, we've never seen him play. We always seen from him as comps. Like, you can't throw him in, especially in this kind of run of form, and throw him into the firing line. Because if he struggles tomorrow, then you're like, why the hell did he start and not Onana? If he should have played in the cup game against Palace, in my opinion, so we could kind of assess what he looked like. And if he did good in that game, then you're like, okay, maybe you've seen him a little bit. So then you can start him again tomorrow. But we have not seen him at all. I haven't even seen training pictures of him. Is he even real? That's the real question.
Hey, listen, he's an unreal man. I don't know if it's just his
Yeah,
cousin or something, or twin brother.
Oh, just kidding.
You know, but you know, listen, Onana's not the main issue. I think for me, there's
Nah.
bigger issues there. I do agree with you though. When Onana's got the ball, only Lissandro Martinez is one that I would say is capable of getting the ball, receiving it on the half turn, and playing that ball into midfield. Casemiro isn't that player. Lindelof is pathetic when it comes to that. He doesn't want to look at the ball. He actually turns away his body. He doesn't want the ball. Varane, for me, I've always had question marks. Is he a centre back that can get the ball and progress the ball well? I think for me, he's been our best defender, but I think long term wise, is he that defender that can elevate our game? And would Onana be comfortable giving the ball straight into Varane's feet? Because I always look at Varane, he's a bit awkward when he gets his ball, his body out of the way. I don't know if you guys see that. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I do feel so for Onana. When I watched him at Inter Milan, this guy would fizz the ball into Brozovic or whoever it was, yeah, Bastoni, or even
Barella.
Acerbi, they would be very comfortable on the ball and get the ball. Yes, it's a different tempo and teams aren't pressing you, but it's about the principle. You play that ball into defenders and you take that risk. We don't have that. You go and give that ball to Bruno Fernandes. He's not doing anything with it. Let's be honest. He's either giving the ball away or he loses possession. So when you actually deep it, structurally, Man United are so poor, and that comes down to the setup. I would be looking if I'm Onana, I'd be looking at Ten Hag and be saying, "What have you brought me into? What is this? Like, what do you want me to do? I'm confused."
I feel like Sonny's got something to say. He was ready. Sonny, what are you
Yeah, go on, Sonny.
I just
If you
think
got
that
anything to say, guys, go for it.
I think the saddest thing with Onana is this, like, when we were looking to get a keeper last season, there was talks about, if someone does come in, you got to give him time, etc. That is definitely a point. But with Onana, he was a lot more established. And let's say when De Gea came in, for example, when De Gea came in, he was coming from Atletico, he was a young prodigy, right? You can kind of expect mistakes. I think the sad thing with Onana thus far is the mistakes he has made. It's a bit like, okay, I wouldn't expect a keeper at your level to be making those mistakes. But I agree with Danny in that I think you need to keep him in the frame, because I'll be honest with you, if this keeper, this Turkish guy, I've not seen him, right? I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm not going to even pronounce it. But do you honestly think this player coming in is going to change us tomorrow, for example, against Brentford? Do you honestly think he's going to be the reason why we don't concede a goal? Because our defense is a shambles. At Inter Milan, the defense that Onana had was amazing. Hence why there was moments, like I went to Porto Inter Milan, for example, second leg. Onana was insane, but that defense that Inter Milan had was another reason why they didn't concede that goal. Or even during that run to the Champions League final, they were really good defensively. We don't have that defense. We genuinely don't. Like, I know there was a comment about how Dalot can play left back and Lindelof right back. It might be the only thing, because Amrabat needs to play in the middle. I think I saw a tweet earlier this week by Usman, actually. He was like, if you've signed a player and you don't play him in the right position, that's on the manager. And that is on the manager. Yes, I get there's injury issues, but if you've got Amrabat right here, I think you need to play him in the middle. And this is the game where I think you have to. If you're going to try something, change the middle of the park and play Amrabat in the middle. You got to change something. And I think Onana has to stay. And you've got to just keep the faith. I think, like I said, I'm not trying to give an excuse, but this international break's actually come at a really good time, because you can properly sit rep and see where everything is. Hopefully a few more players come back as well, and then go from there. Because tomorrow, I think, as bad as it sounds, and I know in Man United, it's almost a free hit. Like, if we win, great. If we lose, so what? Everyone thought we weren't going to win this game. A lot of people don't think we're going to win
it's
this
not
game
a
anyway.
free hit, Sandy.
I think it is. I think it is a free hit.
Nothing's a free hit at Man United, bro.
It is. Because if you think we lose, right, and there's, oh my God, it's a crisis, we need to get rid of Ten Hag, I don't think that's the right way. If we win...
I do think if we lose, though, going into that international break, there's going to be an increase. There's going to be
that's going to be crazy.
But we're going to have 2 weeks of the tabloids, the media, pundits, blah, 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 saying, sure, Ten Hag...
It's must win, man.
You thought you've seen enough leaks this season. Let Ten Hag lose against Brentford.
It's going to be
Laurie
chaos.
Laurie Whitwell got the article ready for Monday morning if we lose tomorrow.
Exactly, bro, man. 2 weeks. No. We have to win, man.
We do have to win, but the thing is, I genuinely don't think we do. Maybe that's because of, like, the confidence I have right now in this team. I just don't see it. I really don't. That defense is very, very scary. And I mean, even like, I know Usman was talking about Maguire, for example, and if Maguire comes, I know he's not been his biggest fan, but if you've got a player there, and like Lindelof, I'm not his biggest fan. You've got to try and bring in Maguire and give him a chance or something. He's a better ball playing centre back than Lindelof, regardless of what people say. He is. They might not be his biggest fan, but he is. If you want to try and play that style of play with Onana, at least you got Maguire there who can play with the ball, as opposed to Lindelof, for example. I mean, that's crazy. If we lose, he gets sacked. That's the sort of thing where, us as fans, we need to be a bit more patient. Like, I know football is a very, very different thing, but if you're in the office, right, and you've got a team, and your manager is the guy that ends up, even though the people around you aren't performing to their best ability and aren't hitting the deliverables, the thing is, those people are at blame, but the manager gets the buck. I don't see how that's the manager's fault. And I'm not saying I'm a Ten Hag in guy, Ten Hag out, but you need to realise that there's a bigger thing at hand here. You can't just straight away blame the manager. If you blame the manager, I mean, can ask the panel this question as well. Who's going to come in? What, you can have an interim again? The circle starts again. It's just pointless, in my opinion.
No, listen. I think. Listen, he needs to win just to kind of get the pressure off him, man. I don't think there's any other question about that. He needs to win, man. This is even for Man United at home against Brentford, man. It shouldn't be anything other than but a win. But obviously, there's so many things that we need to kind of sort out. But people were talking about Ten Hag and whether he has a plan B. Like, Michael, like, is it one way of playing tomorrow? Like, is it one kind of style, and then when we probably against Crystal Palace, like we just kind of did the same thing. Like, do you believe that Ten Hag does have a plan B when it's going wrong?
Well, I mean, typically his plan B when he goes wrong is to kind of just drop the line deeper, play a little bit more pragmatic. The way we did against Burnley, where he just kind of just set up shop and then just Bruno individual, that brilliant goal just kind of bailed us out. But other than that, we just let them have the ball. Obviously, that won't happen tomorrow because Brentford aren't as good on the ball as Burnley, for example, in terms of like their tactics. But I don't know. Honestly, I think he should change some stuff. Like I agree with like what Sonny said. Like I would start the defense that started against Palace, like in the second half, where it was kind of like Lindelof, Dalot, fullback, Maguire, Varane. I'd probably go with that tomorrow, in my opinion. I'd change that up because you got to change the defense up because they're the ones that are like kind of struggling at the moment in terms of like the weak goals that they concede. And just change something up in terms of like the style. I kind of like the way we were playing on Tuesday. Like that from the minute the second half started, right, to the Hoyland goal, Galatasaray were not sniffing the ball at all. They could not get into our half. Ericsson was moving like 2012 Xavi. He was just passing the ball every single corner, left, right,
Ericsson did
middle.
well, in that cameo.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
can't lie to you.
it was
He was
excellent
spraying the
football,
ball. Yeah,
which makes it weird to think about how we lost from that position. When Hoyland went up 2-1 and he did the celebration, we all thought that game was over. I thought the game was over. I thought we were gonna hold on because we were just playing excellent, and
yeah.
then we just collapsed like from that throwing, which is amateur defending. But I'm seeing the good stuff, so I would persist with the style of play. But it's evident that he needs to change some certain style, some players to maintain that style of play. Like for example, Casemiro not doing the rugby kick every minute he gets the ball because this guy gets the ball on his foot and then instead of just like carrying it, not even 5 yards, maybe 2 yards, he's just launching it. And like taking Hannibal, for example, like he talked about Hannibal, his infectious energy. He's the one that inspires everyone else, but then he subbed them off in the 45th minute right away instead of taking off maybe a Bruno who wasn't having a good performance. So, and he's talked about like these leaders aren't stepping up. He's at this time, he's going to have to make the tough calls, whether it's Rashford, whether it's Casemiro, whether it's Bruno, because Danny's right. Those are the three players that are considered our main players right now. Those are the ones that were our most important last year. Then three and Licha, who's not here right now. So I don't know if he wants to play them to get them out of this bad form, which is what he seems to say he's doing with Rashford, because every time he talks about Rashford's bad form, he's like, he's going to get out of it, which means he wants him to play through it, which might not always be the right decision, to be honest. But he has to change something for me. And in terms of style of play, I would persist with the style of play because I think it's doing well. Just the only criticism I have of him is his game management. When you go up 2-1, just settle down a little bit. Just tell the players, drop a little deeper because we kind of were playing still with the high line at 2-1. Just drop a little deeper and just be a little more patient because I honestly think we have the personnel to play possession style football now with the midfielders that are coming through the academy, like Mainu, Hannibal, even like a Dan Gore, but he played the youth game, so he doesn't count. Amrabat, he could have moved Amrabat right in the midfield after we went up 2-1, take off Casemiro, and then just bring on Maguire and move Lindelof and Dalot to fullback and just set up shop and go from there. But he persisted, and we just played way too vertical for the rest of the game because you could have dropped the line deeper because you still had the outlets. You still had Rasmus on the pitch, right? He's an insane outlet. You took off Rashford, but you brought in Garnacho, who's the same outlet as Rashford. So you still had the outlet. So you could have dropped a little deeper and play a little bit more pragmatic because it's not like we won our first game. Tuesday was a must win for Champions League because now it's very little hope that we progress from the group now. We're gonna need Bayern to do miracles for us and beating Galatasaray by a big scoreline. And we got to go into Turkey, which all of us know is no easy feat because that stadium is one of the hardest stadiums to go to. I've seen Real Madrid lose there. We've seen bigger clubs that are better than us lose there. So it's just like, for me, his game management was, I was a little critical of it. Obviously not all his fault. Like we said, the players should not be conceding those goals, but he has to, at certain points, with the situation that we're in now, he has to sometimes be a little bit more safer in his approach, which is what he was last year, but he's kind of gone away from it a little bit this year. So I think he has to be a little safer in terms of his style of play tomorrow.
I don't know, man. It's one of them, man. That the style of play, man, in terms of what he does. You know what I mean? I'm kind of confused because sometimes against Burnley there was a time to kind of go for it. You know what I mean? Especially second half, he didn't do that. He went for the secure, result. This one, it depends on whether United score first as well. Like, we do have a good approach to games. It's not as if we start games slow. I don't think United have started games slow. Maybe away from home, Maybe
First
Burnley
20
will start off a
minutes
bit slower then.
of,
Sorry?
unless I'm going crazy, let me just remind myself. Apologies. I'm trying to think. Has there been a game this season where we started poorly?
Yo, first 20 minutes were the best team in the world.
Yeah, we actually
20-minute FC. That's what I said though. 20-minute FC though, isn't it? We're 20 minutes FC, man.
On the outside looking in, that tells me for the first 20 minutes, I can see what they worked on the training pitch and what the instructions were to the player. Whenever there is resistance,
Yes.
Ten Hag needs to babysit them. Basically, they need a babysit. That's what I've realized about this team. They need a babysitter. After 20 minutes, if they get any resistance, they crumble. And then they're looking to him, get your man management perfect. And don't get me wrong, he's done some, like starting Bruno right wing. When you do stuff like that, you can't expect people to keep the faith, right? At the same time, though, there are things that we've asked for and he's shown us hasn't really worked out. We were asking for Pillistry, weren't we? How'd that work out? Yes,
See, I
we
don't
have to
think
be
it's as bad
balanced.
as what people
So-
say, you know.
No, but we
Like
have to be.
Pellistri's
No,
doing.
Saeed, Anthony is so much better, it's not even. It's and people slander him because of the price tag. I get it, etc. But Pillistry,
Yeah.
his if you're playing as a right winger, you need end product. Yeah, whether you're recycling the ball well, finding your overlap and underlaps, or beating your
Yeah,
man and
Forest. Sorry,
producing
Forest.
something
Yeah.
or finishing. Don't get me wrong. Should have had 2 penalties. To be fair to him, he got screwed over for
Yeah.
2 penalties. One against Bayern in the other game. Aside from that, look. The point I'm making is, I think the manager's kind of screwed either way. I'll be honest with you. Have you not noticed Wolves game? We're getting countered. Counter attack ain't really been a problem lately. Against Palace,
Yeah.
the first game and the second game, he solved that problem tactically because we weren't overloading as quickly. They still found a way to mess. Saeed, I'm telling you, these players at the moment will find a way to sabotage anything he does. So the only thing I want from Ten Hag is some common sense. That's it. You show us common sense, do the obvious things, fans will have no choice but to look at the players. Right? So, player defense. I know you've been forced to play Amrabat left back, cool. Or full back, whatever. Play defenders. Put Amrabat into midfield. Drop Casemiro. Even if you put Eriksen, drop Bruno. Let people see a new midfield. Go with Garnacho and Pellistri, or Garnacho and Anthony and Højlund. The fans will love it. And if we win, great. If we don't, then people will see he's kind of screwed either way. Because this thing about not rotating, not changing, it's only 3. I say it again. It's only Rashford, Bruno, and Casemiro. If you think those 3 are the problem, you're letting those other players off the hook. I can't think of anybody other than Dallo who's been good. Maybe Mount recently, to be fair to Mount. Other than
Mount
those guys,
recently.
who's been good in 2 football matches for us this season? Who?
You know what it is with the reason why with Bruno Fernandes especially, I don't think obviously he's having the impact. He's not playing well as well. I think there's been games where I think for me he's not being dropped or he's not being subbed off. I think for me that's a bit stubbornness by the manager. Rashford as well. I think you know what to be honest with you, I think Rashford sometimes is a detriment to our style of play. I think sometimes we're trying to do the give and go. Mount's trying to pass to and keep it tidy. Then all of a sudden Rashford in the final third would think like he can take on 3 or 4 man. And I'm like, hold on a minute. You can't do that. So I feel like some players are disrupting the style of play. But at the same time, you got to understand, you know what? It can't go on. He needs to be either taken off or needs to be subbed on early. So I feel like Ten Hag is his own worst nightmare as well. Like he needs to understand that, you know what? Your stubbornness can be your own downfall as well. So that
Can I
the
ask you guys
balance
a
of that you
question?
need to question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on what you said, just to get the dub before the international break, right? Because it's not a free hit to lose. But like, would you accept him doing what he did against Burnley to get the dub tomorrow?
Of course, 100%. For me, yeah, you have to get the win. I can't lie to you guys. I think for me, normally I say win in style, but tomorrow he just needs to get the win.
Yeah, but
I
Simon,
really,
you say
really
that
do.
every week, man. Honestly, like, let's be real, man. We've been saying that every week this season. Like,
No, but I think
just get the
tomorrow
win,
it's
just
a
get the
big
win.
exception though.
But
Would you want a
every
win in
game
style?
seems
What's
to
your
be like
style?
a
We're not playing well though.
But
Go
every
on.
game is a must-win for us essentially this season because we keep dropping points every time we're playing against anyone. Oh, we gotta win this game. We gotta go on a 5-win run. Danny, I hear what you're saying, but for me personally, there are players in that team for different reasons. Let's just say Rashford, for example, because I know he's not very popular. But no, for me, I've defended Rashford a lot. But the truth of the matter is, he's becoming a detriment to their attack, as Said has alluded to there. He's consistently breaking and killing attacks. Like every time we go forward, he's either making wrong decisions or he's running into like blind alleys and he's losing the ball, and it's making it very difficult for us to sustain attacks when you got a play like that where their retention is next to like nothing. Like obviously his retention is probably better than other players, but in general he's constantly losing the ball for us. He's, you know, his body language is not great. He's not working enough off the team. And then Bruno Fernandes, again, as I mentioned, is being shoehorned into the team when he doesn't really need to start. I mean, I understand why he's starting, because obviously what he's done last season for Ten Hag, obviously he was good, and he's the captain as well. I get it, but for me personally, it needs to come to a point where we look at Ten Hag and say, just pick your best players on form. I mean, we criticise Southgate for picking Maguire and Phillips when they're not playing. But why can't we have the same energy for Ten Hag? I mean, he's picking players out of form. Rashford, for me, he's very much a confidence player. I'm sure most United fans know that. Like, his form is, his confidence is on the floor quite clearly. I mean, the fact that he passed to Bruno Fernandes the other day, for me, was actually the right decision. But I know if that's a confidence Rashford is shooting every day of the week. So you can tell his confidence is literally on the floor. Bruno Fernandes, for me, he's not going through a great period, and there's nothing wrong with him just not playing for 60 minutes and subbing him on for 30 minutes. I mean, just little details like that. I think he needs to be a bit more bold. I think he's playing it way too safe with his team selection. I mean, it's very similar to, and again, this would be extremely hypocritical of me because I used to criticize Oli for the exact same thing. So I can't sit here now and not criticize Eric Ten Hag for picking his favourites and keeping it like he's picking 11. I'm sure most of us, if we actually talk about who the predicted 11 is, we can probably name 10 out of the 11 players. And a lot of them probably shouldn't be playing, in my opinion. They haven't warranted the start. Not that many have. But in the final third, he's got to change something because it's not working. We've had a lot of the ball, but we're not scoring because the players in front of goal they haven't got any confidence. So how are they going to score? Like Rashford, for example, he can't be playing for me. Anthony as well, man. Like, honestly, like if he brings Anthony, Bruno, and Rashford back into the team, for all three of them starting tomorrow. I think all three will start.
Who would you start then? Who would you start then, Usman? Like,
no, Anthony's starting right wing.
Anthony's definitely starting, and Rashford.
And Højlund down the middle.
Anthony's starting.
They're definitely starting.
Because I feel like this right hand side is just bare bones anyway. You're not going to shoehorn them thingy there.
It's by default.
You know, so
it's by default. That's what it is.
By default, yeah.
By
again, that
default, it's
midfield
going to be Anthony, Rashford, and Højlund up top. I'm sure we'll all probably agree on that. That's going to be the front, realistically. And the midfield,
you can't. You know what it is with Rashford? Like, he can't. You see that moment, right, that you spoke about, Usman? For me, the moment I saw him hesitate, I knew whether he shoots or passes, he's not going to execute. It was just obvious. And his form leading into that game told all of us he shouldn't be on the football pitch or starting. Right? So that's one decision where there's actually, like, Anthony I can get. Højlund I can get. Even Bruno, I wouldn't mind seeing Bruno rested. I know people don't like him, so they say dropped. But actually, if you like
he does need a rest.
You'd be saying rested if you rated him, but you don't, so you'll just say drop. Either way, I don't mind seeing Bruno out of the team. But I can understand if he keeps his captain in there. It's the Rashford one. Like, he's been our worst player this season. His form, we had this conversation before, say, the season before. He's probably been our worst player this season. That's what I'm talking about. If Ten Hag wants people to keep the faith, there are some obvious things he has to do. Rashford is one of them. It's an obvious one. No one's going to kill you for playing Garnacho ahead of Rashford. Like, fans will support you, actually. Will actually support you.
I think the fans, I don't know if you hear the crowd, but the fans now are demanding Garnacho. They're saying, you know, they're singing his song. They're wanting him to play. I feel like they just think with Rashford.
You know what our fans are like. If he drops a stinker, they'll say he's not ready. He's this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
no, but then we have to see it happen. Just like
we do. I agree. I do think if Rashford starts, I think that
to see it happen.
It says a lot about Ten Hag for me. I've got to be honest. Obviously, I'm back.
He says here,
but come on, man, you've got to make these big calls. It's staring him in the face that Rashford should not be starting. So
I'm going to go off camera, but I want to throw a question at you guys. I know you're going to get Ten Hag's comments up here. Do you guys think he's scared to drop Casemiro, Bruno, and Rashford?
Yes.
Or he just doesn't trust the players who will come in for them?
I think he's worried because I think they're inextricably linked because if he drops, let's say he drops them, the reason he's scared, he doesn't want to drop them is because he's scared of who comes in. Because let's be honest, right? Bruno, for example, I think that one's a bit easier because I think a midfield of Mount, Ericsson, Amrabat, I think's not bad, to be honest with you. I know people talk about Hannibal.
That's fine.
Right?
For me,
I think if people talk about Hannibal, but if I'm being truthfully honest, and it's something I was speaking to Charlie about this week, to be fair, ever since Fergie's left, how many academy players can you seriously say have kind of graduated, or even young players that we brought in, can you honestly say have really hit the heights or actually showed their promise? Other than you'd say Rashford, regardless of how Rashford's playing right now, he's shown up, and maybe Mason Greenwood to a certain extent. Other than them two, how many really can you honestly say, hand on heart, have come from the academy and you'd be like, yeah, they've actually turned up? There's not a lot. I'm not saying Hannibal isn't going to be a great player, and likewise with Kobe Mino, but I think that's one thing we need to kind of relax with these young players. Like, them coming in doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to change our fortunes. I think what Danny said, and I'm going to let you guys take this as well, they're linked. He doesn't want to drop them, but he's scared because he doesn't think the replacements are adequate. Because with Garnacho, for example, and, you know, to be honest with you, Usman does raise a good point. That game against Wolves is a reason why I think Ten Hag's not too happy with starting him, because that game, fine, it was the first game, but it wasn't his best game. And I think he's worried that if he does it again against Brentford, he's going to have the same issue. And then who's going to bring on?
Just let me just throw this out here, just for you, right, and everyone here. The reason I want Rashford and Bruno and these guys to be dropped, right, is more psychological than actual, or they're holding us back. Because if you actually remember last season, when Rashford got taken out of the team because he was late, so he got taken out of the team, he got dropped, whatever you want to call it, because obviously he got punished basically for his lateness. The guy got subbed on at half-time with a chip on his shoulder. That was the Rashford we needed. He had arrogance about it, scored straight away, obviously won us the game. I think that might be against Wolves as well. But the point I'm making is, Rashford at the moment, yeah, his confidence is on the floor. Bruno Fernandes, his confidence might be on the floor as well. But the truth of the matter is, both of them players, and you can throw Casemiro in there, they just become untouchable in the sense that regardless of how they perform, they're on their pitch. And for me, as a manager of Manchester United, that should never be the precedent that you set, regardless of what the player is, or regardless of the name or whoever it may be. He has to set the precedent. If you're not performing, you're not on the pitch. And I know it's not easy. And as you rightfully said, the quality that is coming in terms of out and out ability, Rashford is obviously clear of Garnacho, but you've got to set the precedent. You've got to say to the people, you know what, if you're not going to perform, you're not on the pitch. So that's why, for me, it's bigger than just dropping them psychologically. Rashford and Bruno are going to be like, we need to step up our game. And it's only going to be healthy for them, competition, give them a couple of, minutes off the pitch and let them sit on the sideline and watch the team play and understand you're not being picked because you're not performing. Psychologically, it will help them. I guarantee you, if both of them get subbed on the pitch on the, let's say 45 minutes, right? We're nil-nil, it's 45 minutes, we've had an absolute howler. I guarantee you them two will win us the game because they're like, shit, we need to step up. And I guarantee they'll put in a proper performance. So for me, sometimes you just got to do that, man. Give them a kick up the arse and say, no what? Yeah, Man United, your place isn't guaranteed.
You know what, though? To be fair, player power is still around, isn't it? Like, I think the big personalities, I'm not saying they would turn on Ten Hag, but, is there that kind of doubt that Ten Hag doesn't want to lose the senior players? Because you remember, Casemiro's still not been dropped. Like, I feel like there's been certain points in games here where you could arguably say, even for me, when I love Casemiro, but there's certain parts of the season where you're thinking, hold on a minute, he kind of needs to be dropped, or he kind of, last season maybe, kind of needs, but he played through it. Even the Carabao Cup, he started the Carabao Cup. Who starts Casemiro in the Carabao Cup?
I couldn't believe that.
He did that. Yeah. So there's certain players he just doesn't start. And I feel like for me, that in that aspect, I feel like he doesn't want to lose the trust of the senior figures, and I feel like ultimately the manager is a bit, I won't say he's a bit scared to drop Rashford and Bruno, but he's very, very hesitant to drop them. Because they know A, they got the output, and B, he doesn't trust his style of play. For me, I think right now isn't as strong for them to not be there. I really don't. If they're not there, he doesn't have the output, and I think that's what's separating him right now. If we're not basically in the relegation zone, you know what I mean? Because certain players have stepped up in that respect. Because it's not, we've not been convincing every game this season. Sorry. Casemiro's our top scorer, exactly. Casemiro is our top scorer. That's damning, though, when you deep it. Like, I know it's good, but it's damning as well.
It's a damning indictment, but then also on that front as well. Like, this game, I don't see how it's a problem playing Amrabat, Mount, Ericsson. I mean, let's be honest, Copenhagen, but 24th of October, he has to play him because Casemiro is suspended. So I don't
Regular
see
could be back though by then, so it could be
that'll be
Amrabat,
helpful. But
Mount.
Amrabat, Mount, and Ericsson, I think is the play. And I think what Usman said about the confidence aspect, the psychological aspect, is fair. But can you? I think the other thing as well that Ten Hag can do, and this could be game management. Say if they're having stinkers at half time, you can bring them off as well. Because let's play a player like Garnacho. He's so much better coming off the bench as opposed to starting. And I think that game would be probably more suited. But does Ten Hag have the bottle to take him off at half time? I don't know.
Listen, can I just throw this out here and then I'll let obviously Michael. I actually won't even start Garnacho. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably gonna be a popular opinion, but it has to be Martial. I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I know it's gonna be an unpopular opinion, but for me personally, right, give Martial 50 minutes, take him off. Honestly, I'm not even saying he can play 90 minutes. But in terms of what Højlund probably needs, I think Martial will complement him a lot more than this version of Rashford. I mean, Rashford, for me, when he's unsung, obviously he's brilliant. We know that he's got a lot about his game, but we just need to go back to the basics, man. Just keep the ball and obviously link up play. Like, I personally would want Martial somewhat closer to Højlund. The biggest criticism I have of United is like, I understand we're trying to keep the width, I get it, and obviously we haven't got a left back, so of course it might not make sense to do it right now because obviously Luke Shaw in that situation would obviously give us a width on the left side, but I would love to see Martial get a chance closer to Højlund, like almost like a second striker. Obviously, he won't be a second striker, but for me personally, man, just change it. I know Garnacho for me, although he probably could want to start, but I would be interested to see how Martial does because he does actually look sharp. I mean, he came on against Bayern Munich and he changed the game for me personally. Yes, granted, the game was gone by then. They essentially they basically went on pilot mode essentially, and Martial capitalized on that. But he did look sharp, and I'm not saying Martial is an answer long term. I'm just talking about this game in particular. I think for me, he brings something different that none of the other players do, and I think Højlund would definitely benefit from someone with his profile next to him. That's someone who can actually link up with him and actually keep the ball. So I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not going to be popular, but what are your thoughts? Michael's like, fuck's sake.
I'll be honest, Neji. So on my show, we had he said the same thing. Neji wanted to see Martial start in the Galatasaray game, and I think it's not a bad shout at all. Because with Garnacho, if you're being honest, you don't know what you're going to get. He was good in the cup game, but ultimately he is a teenager. He's going to have good games and bad games. I'm not opposed to seeing Martial play on the left, but it's just that I'm trying to think. Has Ten Hag ever played in there?
No, I don't.
No.
If you want to play Martial and Højlund together, then go play that formation that he did against Brighton, the diamond.
Go
diamond. He ain't going back to that, but he's not going back to the diamond. So especially with we just don't have the width right now in terms of left back. We don't have a left foot or left fullback. Martial.
But imagine
the only way you work it is if Mount drifts more wide, and Martial kind of takes that role where he plays a little bit more central. But I don't trust Mason Mount's creativity on the wing to play out there. That's the thing. I don't think Martial's like creative. Martial's creative in terms of linking up, but if you put him on the wing, I don't think he's creative. He's not quick enough. Forget it. He's just not quick enough to be on the wing and go down the byline like the way that Garnacho and Rashford are. Because Rashford, whether he's been in bad form, but he still offers you the threat of going down the line, which he's done a lot of times. He just hasn't.
But he doesn't cross it though.
But also his impact's not good as well. Martial's impact off the bench has not been great. I know he had that one game against Bayern Munich where I thought he had a relatively good kind of impact, but I don't think he gives you anything that great off the bench.
When he started, Saeed. Sorry to interrupt. Even when he started against Arsenal, I mean, yeah, fine, he was playing down the middle, but was he
Palace?
Did he offer anything?
He wasn't good against Palace, in my opinion. He scored the goal, but he wasn't good before that.
But with what Usman's saying, it could be the play because right now, Rashford's in such bad form that he's probably not the best thing to play him, but I think he will start tomorrow. That's the thing.
But imagine Martial in the pocket. So I'm on about the pockets. I'm not talking him. I'm not saying he's giving us a width. You got Anthony on the right. He can give us a width. You attempt to hook the touchline all day long. Let Martial just play in the pocket next to the striker. Because for me personally, Højlund does come across very isolated. I mean, you saw in the Galatasaray game, obviously very, very much lesser opposition, so we can't look into that too much. But his hold-up play was actually a lot better than I gave him credit for initially. He was quite good at keeping the ball in tight areas. And imagine he could just keep it, play it off Martial, obviously have that ability to have a give and go. For me personally, he hasn't really had that chance. I mean, Mason Mount's probably the only one that's helped him in that department thus far. And obviously, if Delor's playing left, this would only work if Delor's playing left back, of course. Otherwise, it definitely would not be a conversation. But if Delor's playing left back, at least he has the capability to overlap potentially if he wanted to. But I just want to see Martial in the pocket for 60 minutes. 50 minutes, whatever it may be, in the sub Rashford on, that's fine, for his pace, to stretch the play, etc., etc. At the end of the day, the way I see this game panning out is Brentford sitting deep and counter-attacking us with the pace that they've got in transition, and obviously they know that's United weakness as well. I don't expect them to try and dominate us. I just don't think they're going to do that. They're on low confidence as well, so I would be surprised. I actually think we're going to have a lot of the ball, which is why I'd rather have a technically sound player in those tight areas like Martial than a Rashford or Garnacho. I think Garnacho operates definitely when there's more space. Rashford kind of does a bit of both. But for me, if we have a lot of the ball, I'd rather have Martial on the ball. I think he can easily pick out Højlund a few times. But that's just my opinion.
Now, listen, I think obviously, there's a lot of things to kind of look at, but ultimately, you know what I mean? Ten Hag is backing Rashford. He's backing a lot of his guys right now. I feel like for me, he doesn't maybe understand the magnitude of what's going on right now. Maybe it is that this is the way he kind of rolls with it. I don't know what it was like in Ajax when they used to have trouble sometimes. What was his kind of mantra? What was his kind of way of dealing with them things? Did he have a plan B? When I spoke to Ajax fans, he didn't really have a plan B. His plan B was plan A, basically. And that was it, really. So that in that regards, I don't know. Sometimes I look at Ten Hag. Is he urgent? Does he get like? Does he feel the pressure? Does he just kind of like, you know what? If it works, it works. I move on. Like, it is what it is. Like, I don't know if he just kind of like deep down understands the magnitude of what we're in right now. Like this kind of adversity and this kind of this pressure right now. I don't know. I think he just kind of goes with it the same way or the same logic he goes with it against Crystal Palace. We just go again. We move. This is another game, and we have heads are right. And then when the things happening and when it's shit's hit the pan, I'm not sure if he can galvanize his team because I feel like they need him as well. Like, as much as he can't micromanage his players. I'm sorry, man. They need a bit of passion on the touchline. They need a bit of, they need a bit of oomph. I don't feel that with him, man.
We need you on the touchline, sorry.
You know what?
I don't feel
Were you
it.
at the Galatasaray game, yeah?
Yeah.
I saw him. Like, this is just me, body language, lip reader. Take it with a pinch of salt, yeah? But there was this one ball that Casemiro did, and I'm sure he was saying to Van der Gaag, because he did some hand gestures. I don't understand why he doesn't just keep it on the deck. And I'm looking at it thinking, tell him that on the touchline. The players need to be babysat.
He does it a lot to Van der Gaag, bro. Say it to the team, bro. Why does he not conversate that to the players?
Tell me if I'm wrong, Sage, but from watching that game on TV, I haven't seen him sat next to Van der Gaag that much in a game before. He weren't on the touchline a lot from what I could see. He seemed very frustrated with what he was watching. I don't know. But that's why I was saying, for me, you know what it is? We need a bit of luck. Like, we need just to go 2-3 goals up in 20 minutes. And then I still think we'll end up hanging on. They'll find a way. 2-1, 10 minutes to go, 3-2. They'll find a way. But I feel like if we don't get a bit of luck and score some goals early, no matter what lineup he picks, we're going to run into the same problems in a competitive Premier League game. We're just going to run into the same problems. But he needs to show some common sense. Drop Rashford. One of Casemiro and Bruno. Drop one of them. I don't know what he's going to do. What I would say is, somebody was saying to me earlier he wants to play his best players, like the guys he relies on through form, which I get. Between now and the international break, there's a break. It don't matter. It don't count. This game don't count to form. After the international break, if he's still in a job, you're resetting anyway. So this is the one game, and I heard what Udman was saying, we've been saying it all season, but where things have now developed, this is literally one game. If you're going to do something drastic and dramatic, do it now. Just do it against Brentford. And the fans will say he tried something different, and then what will be, will be. But if he picks the same team, Saeed, and we don't win...
Facts. All hell's gonna break loose. I'm telling you, if he picks the same team, we lose again. Oh my lord,
it's not looking good. That's what I'm gonna say.
Sanji says we should use a Real Madrid formation with no winger. Well, basically diamond, basically.
I hate the diamond. I hate.
The thing though, Real Madrid have players that have
have you seen their players?
We don't have a Jude. We don't have a Vinicius. Yeah, we don't have those kind of players.
They got Jude Bellingham.
You play the diamond and you play Lindelof right back, and you're asking Lindelof to do serious defending. Good luck.
No. I love it.
No, let me ask you a question as well. The midfield for me, like, I like Mount, yeah, but I don't know about you, but I think Eriksen did more. No, but let me ask you a question. Like, this is why for me, a lot of people are gassing up Mount, yeah. And listen, I thought he had a good game against them, yeah. But bro, all he does is off the ball, you know. What about on the ball? Eriksen, Eriksen did more on the ball in 15, 20 minutes than Mount did all game. Do you guys for those that have the statisticians and whoever's out there, Danny, I don't know if you can back me up on this one, but he made more key passes. Sorry? He did more in the game than Mount did the whole game. But this is the problem, like, I get it, we're championing running around and looking for the ball, and you know what I'm saying, but bro, we need output. We need players that can actually do like key things in the game. We don't have that. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Hannibal, I love Hannibal. But is he going to get the ball edge of the box and
that's
you know
not
what
his
I mean?
job,
like, drive into the field and
Eriksen's not getting the ball at the edge of the box and smacking it into the top bins or anything either.
What I would say is this, Saeed, right? There's people I speak to.
But Eriksen's more threatening, though.
I get what you're saying, right? So you see that cup game against Palace. Some guys I speak to, they're very big on the B team and the way they play football, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is, the cup game was against Palace B team, and actually, once they brought in Eze and made some subs, we didn't look as good, right? What I would say is, if you want to keep the football better, with no guarantees of anything else, there is a team that he can put out that doesn't include Rashford and Burrow and Casemiro.
Yeah.
What you will run into is what you're talking about, Saeed. Yeah, you will run into a problem where, okay, who's going to deliver the decisive moment if things don't go well? You go a goal down. You haven't seen that team that we played against Palace face going a goal down. It's football. Things happen. That's when you're looking at the Rashfords, at the Brunos, at the Casemiros, because ultimately goals win football matches. There's no way around that. Even the Martial goal at the end, who assisted it? It's like Casemiro. Like, you know, like it's that's why I think he's sticking with those players. I'm pretty sure if I did the math right now, I bet you Rashford, Bruno, and Casemiro account for 70% of our goals this season. Because we haven't scored many.
No, we haven't scored many. I think we scored. How many scored in the Premier League? Is it 7 or something?
We scored 7 in the league.
We've scored 7.
Off memory, what Bruno scored a penalty in the volley.
15.
Rashford probably
we scored
has
15.
1 or 2.
15,
in fact, probably Højlund's in there. But
have we scored more in the cup games than we scored in the Premier League?
Almost. I think it's.
What did I say to you guys?
That's
Man United are a cup team, man. Man United are a cup team.
Yeah,
I did say that.
We scored 8 in the cups. We scored
8
7
in the cup, 7 in the league.
There you go. There you go,
Mount,
man.
though, you're being harsh. Look, Mount did some good stuff on the ball in that game.
Which game? Oh, Galatasaray.
Even that pass to Højlund, the outside the outside the.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. And also, he got the ball back as well. Was it with the ball back? You know, the one where it's on the left hand side and he lost the ball, but then he won it back and then he played it into Rashford. That was a good one as well.
Yeah,
but all I'm saying to you is, I feel like you know
he's a player, but he's a player you have to find. There's no way around that. Like, he will have good form, good moments where he gets on the ball and does things here and there, but he does his best work off the ball. Off the ball. That's what I'm saying. His best work is link play. That's. And to be fair, in that game, his movement in the penalty box was excellent. Just didn't get the finish.
Yeah. So, well, he should have scored. To be fair, if it wasn't for Hannibal,
find him, he's a player you have to find. It's on the team to find him.
Can't blame Hannibal.
My thing is though, I feel like it's one of them where you got him and Bruno there, which I think Bruno off the ball is great. You know what I mean? Bruno off the ball. But I feel like, and then you got a mixture of Casemiro in there who, let's be honest, like, it's going to be difficult for him to kind of in there and have balance. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's I don't know, man. Unless Amrabat comes in there.
I think the thing with Mount and Eriksen, though, instead of comparing the two, I think it's more Eriksen and Bruno. I don't think you can have both of them at the pitch on the same time. It's one or the other. You can have Mount and Eriksen on the pitch at the same time because Mount's much better off the ball than Bruno in terms of like positional discipline. So I think you could have both of them on the pitch at the same time. I just don't think you could have Eriksen and Bruno because then that's when you kind of lose all the shape.
The only way you could instantly and immediately thrive with Mount and Bruno in the same team is if everything behind them is perfect. And that's just, you just don't have that.
Which was last season.
No, not necessarily. We didn't get the upgrade. We didn't get the centre back
No,
Shaw's
we had the third best defense in the league.
No,
we
I'm
were
talking on the ball.
compact.
I'm talking your
Oh,
six,
on the ball.
your two
Okay.
centre backs and your full backs need to be elite on the ball. If they are, then you can get away with having two high midfielders because the base of the team will find them because they're elite on the ball. We don't have that at Man United. We don't have that.
Yeah. Unpopular opinion, king of English football, unpopular Mount is clear of Bruno. I think one has better output, and I will get you like Mount. I don't think does what Bruno does. You see that ball when it goes over the top, and Bruno finds a space and he runs in behind final transition. Mount doesn't do that. You know what I mean? But Mount will then maybe be a bit more tidy in and around the box.
You know what drives those type of comments? Man United fans will always fixate on a saviour who has characteristics they want at the moment. So there was a large section of the fan base. Bruno's clear of Pogba because of the GA, right? He's clear. He was performing, leader, blah, blah, blah. Then Bruno starts declining. Why? Because the team could never compensate for the flaws in his game. And with Mason Mount, the best moment of his career, there was still two question marks. His final ball and his finishing. So while now he's neat and tidy on the ball and you like it, he offers good movement and he can link play. If the rest of the team isn't able to produce any output and you start seeing Mason Mount missing chances and not getting his final ball right, 2 years from now, that same fan will be turning on Mason Mount. This versus that we do with players, I wonder when Man United fans will get. We did this with Rashford and Martial for 3 years when they were better together, actually, those two. Martial's better, Rashford's better. What about the team? What about the collective? Man United fans love a versus. This player's better than that player. Like Usman said at the start of the show, take out Maguire, we'll be able to play a high line. How are we playing with a high line without Maguire these days? Are we any better?
I hear you. On that point.
I think about the construction of the team overall. It's never about one player versus another player.
Obviously, the people are saying bring Maguire back in, but again, the manager, will he bring him in? I don't think he will. Every time when you think,
bring back
you know
Johnny
what?
Evans, man. Clean sheet and assist.
Johnny Evans, I don't know why he's not in the team. I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Johnny Evans probably.
I got my prediction. If he plays, he'll be the next player to make a mistake. He's got a Man United fans forgot he's got a bozo gene as well. You say,
oh yeah,
I know.
He's gonna be too slow on the ball, Johnny Evans, and they're gonna nick it off him 100%. I can see happening.
Also, as well, I don't know if you've seen the way he turns as well, man. His turn is just he's an old man.
Or whatever he's
doing. Yeah, I mean, like it's you got to be careful, man. Like I said, I don't know, man. I feel like there's always we're trying to find solutions here, but in reality, every single thing will be a problem. Like when Maguire comes in and has a bad first half, everyone's gonna be like, "Yo, like get him out of the team."
Whenever you solve one problem, we've got so many. Just highlights another.
Yeah.
The defense is shambles anyways, man. Just get Amrabat in the midfield. That's the way I see it, man. Just forget the defense now. It's an absolute wrap. I mean, it's irrelevant who you play there, man. Leach is not there. Varane, whatever it is, where it is. Bro, just get Amrabat in centre mid and we just pray in it. Pray to God and something happens in it. It's awesome.
That's where we've gone to as many.
When Reguilon comes back, has he ever played with Lindelof on the left, or has Reguilon only played with Licha?
He
played with a few players.
I don't want to see Reguilon Lindelof left hand side. That scares me.
I don't think he played with the same centre back every game.
I think he did with Lissandro twice and then Johnny Evans, right? I think.
Fuck. I mean, he must have played. Did he play against Burnley?
Johnny Evans against Burnley. Burnley was Johnny Evans.
So
Burnley with Johnny Evans, but
he played. Did he play Nottingham Forest
Martinez?
Game?
So Evans for Burnley, Martinez for Bayern Munich,
and Brighton.
The game before that was Brighton, and for Brighton, which would have been his first game, I assume he played with Martinez twice. To be fair, did he play against Arsenal?
Nah, he wasn't. Nah, he didn't play against Arsenal.
No, he didn't play against Arsenal. We played Dalot at left back, and he kind of had.
Dalot had a good game
there.
So
to answer your question, he hasn't played with Lindelof yet. He hasn't had the experience.
That scares me.
He ain't had the pleasure. He ain't had the pleasure of playing with Lindelof yet.
That's a scary left hand side. That would be scary.
That left side.
You know what it is here? With Amrabat, like I feel like he could do a job here, but there's times when you know what I mean. You have to be like that foul there was for me a bit unforgivable, man. That foul was it against on the weekend that led to the goal.
The one that led to the Anderson going on it.
Like you know what I mean. You can't do that, man. But I feel like we make daft decisions in key areas, and I'm like, bro, you don't have to foul, you don't have to do this. I think with Casemiro, he doesn't have to do this. You know, he doesn't have to go and foul, you know, at the edge of the box. You don't have to, man. It's as simple as that. Like, you have to just keep your composure. But I don't know who's saying what, who's leading who, you know. And I think accountability is key, man, on this weekend. Like, get the job done, get the result in, and move on. Because I think if we lose this game, I think even a draw for me is a disaster, man. United have to win this game, whether you like it or not. I generally don't care, man. Win the game by any means necessary, and we move forward, man. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of go to the next game. I mean, Brentford this season, if you're looking at their fixtures, they're no wins in 5. You know, I don't know if people have been watching Brentford, but a lot of draws though. So defensively, they are kind of, you know, they love a draw. You know, I think they lost to Everton. Was it 3-1? I think they lost to Everton 3-1. But other than that, a lot of draws in their games. 1-1 against Brentford. What else is there? 2-2 against Bournemouth, 1-1 against Crystal Palace. They lost 1-0 to Newcastle.
You've got, sorry to interrupt you, bro, but you've got to factor in the way they played against them teams in comparison to how they're going to play against us is night and day.
Yeah.
The way they play against us is going to benefit them. They're very good in transition. So regardless of their, you know, results prior, like if you watch Brentford, they're very good on the break. I mean, anytime they play
physically as well. Is that going to work? Is that going to help us as well? Physically as well, they're very,
no, honestly,
you know, tall.
I think we're going to play into their hand.
Set pieces as well, man. Danny, set pieces is a struggle for us as well now. I don't know what it is with us, the set pieces as well. Like people not picking their man. That goal, yeah, I think, was it Lindelof just not marking someone, or who was it? Like, come on, man. And they've got a tall team. We're looking at Norgard. We're looking at Collins, Pinnock, Janvel, you know. These are very, very tall, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a throwback team, man. I can't lie to you guys. Throwback
we have
team.
a team in the penalty box, set pieces. They don't want to defend. They don't want to attack the ball. We only have 2 football players who attack the ball. Johnny Evans, who I guess was taught by Sir Alex Ferguson how to, and Casemiro, who else attacks the football at a set piece. And then defensively, second balls were garbage. Like, even when we defend the set piece, I can see how we could have conceded. Do you know how peak that is? Like, you defend the set piece, but you know, if that was off just a little bit, 2 guys with free hair. I see it all the time. So I don't know if you can tell, I ain't got confidence for this game. I'll be honest with you. If we somehow keep a clean sheet, I'll be amazed. I'll be amazed if we keep a clean sheet. If we keep a clean sheet, I think we win. If we don't, yeah.
I'm just interested to see how Brentford pressed. I remember last year they came to Old Trafford and didn't press us like at all.
Yeah, they didn't. We still won 1-0 though.
But the way we're playing, I don't think that helps us coming up against.
No, I know, because the ball, Onana's not going to kick it long pretty much. He's just going to pass it to the center backs, and I don't trust Lindelof overall to progress the ball, to be honest with you, at all. And so that just.
But that's why we need Amrabat in centre mid, because he has the ability to drop in between the centre backs and actually collect the ball and start the attack. I mean, Casemiro, although he does it, we know that's not his strength. That's one of his weaknesses, if anything. So for me, that's why I want Amrabat in centre mid, man. Just get him to collect the ball from the defenders, and obviously we can progress through that. So for me, little things like that, man, they make a big difference.
Yeah, last season we won 1-0 at home, so it's not going to be an easy game. Big up to Abdishek says, get Zidane off flick. I don't care. The match is finished. Watch him start Bruno Rashford again tomorrow. When is the pain going to end tomorrow?
Flick, you know,
it's crazy. It's
just had a marriage.
There you go, man.
On that note, I need to go side. Good luck with the Zidane.
No, I love, man.
Good luck,
bro. Honest to God, people need to chill out with Zidane as well, man. You don't even know if he's like world class or not. I mean, obviously, you got to put respect on his name for what he achieved with that team. But bro, look at that team. Like, do you know what I mean? That team is outrageously good. So
Zidane ain't stepping foot in Manchester anyway. He's not coming to this.
Yeah, why is he gonna come? He's got too much swag. It's too much swag to be in Manchester. Can you imagine him walking on Oxford Road in that side? Come on, man. Arndale and that Zidane. Yeah. Don't worry.
Zidane ain't coming here, man. I'll be real with you, man. Zidane ain't gonna come here, man.
If he does, man,
let's pick our team.
Vinicius,
yeah, exactly.
Bring Vinicius.
Are we sticking with Onana? Are we sticking with Onana?
I personally wouldn't, but obviously just for the sake of the panel, it was 3 against 2 me you side, so just put Onana.
Yeah, Onana.
Bro, the atmosphere in here is like a funeral, and we are suffering,
Yeah,
aren't we, United fans?
yeah. I think it's
Uh,
going to be the same back line, if I'm being honest with you. Even though for me, I think Maguire should come in, but I think it's going to be the same back four. Would we bring anyone else in there? Maguire? Anyone?
yeah,
Evans?
I mean,
I bring Maguire on
are we
for
basing it on?
the height, like the height that Brentford. Like we talk about the set pieces. Maguire
Yeah,
can handle set pieces.
Are we basing it
yeah,
on what we will decide or what you think Ten
yeah.
Hag's?
We're gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna do.
All right, then I wouldn't
What
put
I'm
him
gonna do,
right
yo,
back either.
I wouldn't put.
I'd
I'd
put
put
Dylan
Lindelof left back.
personally. I wouldn't put him right back. I'd put Lindelof right back.
Or
Honestly,
yeah, switch it, whatever. Which either way.
yeah, I would switch them
Right.
over.
Okay. Okay.
Just
So
to
you
get
put left back
not
alone.
because they're good, but just to get Amrabat in the middle of the park. Honestly, I don't even care at this point with the defense. It's just that bad.
Yeah.
Like, just please, we need some balance in the midfield, man, and maybe that might protect the defense, anyways.
Okay. Okay.
By the way, did you
Right.
guys
Let's
know
go
that
with
Maguire and Varane haven't lost a game together that they started?
I did not know
ever.
that. Well, they got a chance
Wow.
to break
I
that
didn't know
record
that.
tomorrow.
Or I think
No,
no,
that's what
actually it
I'm
was under
saying,
Ralph.
man.
No, because they lost the Brentford game, but under Ralph, like that year when when Varane got first time, they didn't lose a game together. When they played all 90 minutes, they didn't lose.
Oh well,
Wow. That's
that's it.
interesting. Midfield. What we're gonna go for? I would go
I'm
with
going.
Casemiro, Mount, and Ericsson.
Who am I going? No, I'm going Casemiro, Mount, and Amrabat.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. To be fair, I forgot Amrabat's back in midfield. Okay, I'm gonna go with Casemiro, Amrabat, and Mount.
Yeah, because I think like Amrabat and Casemiro, hopefully they can shield that shocking back line, and then obviously Mount could just run off. That's what I wanted Martial to play because I think we'll have the protection behind him with like Amrabat and Casemiro there. Because I think Amrabat, to be fair to him, has got the defensive know-how and obviously covers a lot of ground in general. So, yeah, that's basically what I would do. But obviously, by all means, feel free to disagree.
No, I think that's the right one to go with. Let's go with that one. I think that's probably the best one we could go for.
I'm on number,
Um,
but I would have gone
I would put
Amrabat,
Amrabat
Mount,
in there.
Ericsson.
Oh, you got Mount Ericsson. Sorry.
yeah. Okay. Let's go with Mount in the 10 role there. And then up front, what are we going for up front?
Go on, Michael. I'll let you start, bro.
It's the hot take, but it's not gonna happen. But I would have gone Garnacho, Hoyland, Rashford. I think Rashford might actually benefit playing on the right now out of confidence.
Okay.
Side, what you think?
Okay.
But I know Rashford's
I'm
getting
gonna go.
dropped. I'm on number for this one.
I'm actually gonna go with Anthony, Garnacho, and Hoyland.
Oh, so we've all got different front three.
Yeah, let me
to
know
be-
yours, guys, in the comments.
Yeah, put yours in the chat, people. To be fair, I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here because I did actually tweet out my 11, so I'm actually changing my mind. So, Storm
Yeah.
fans, they're going to say, "Oh, you said that Rashford, blah blah," but I don't care. It's what I've admitted, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna say I don't really like Anthony at all, but just for the sake of balance, I'm gonna put Anthony right wing. So I think we've agreed on that. I know you had one Rashford. I think we agree on Highland in it. But obviously, for me, I think Martial deserves a run out 60 minutes, but that's not going to happen. So I think Highland is a no-brainer. So you could probably put him inside. I think we'd all agree on that.
Yeah, Hoyland's a no-brainer. Yeah, Hoyland is up there, man.
So,
Let me
who did you
just.
say again? So you went Highland, Anthony, and Garnacho, did you say?
Yeah.
Well, Anthony's got 2 votes, then Anthony's going to have to
Yeah, just go Garnacho, Hoyland, Anthony.
Garnacho and Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Has to be Martial, man. Yeah, I need to know. The chat's probably cooking me, to be fair. I can't lie, but it is what it is. But, Martial, man, just.
There we go.
Good chance, man. Give him a chance. But yeah, Garnacho got 4.
Sorry.
Nah, this website hasn't updated because Hoyland's still like at his like Danish team.
I was about to say the violated, man. Flipping out. All right. Fair enough.
No, I think for me, I think it's crazy, man. We've got a team that's got no thingy in there, no Bruno and no Rashford in the team. But that's been a while, man, since we've had this team.
You know
It's crazy.
something I would have tried, right? If we're like a proper right back, like to fit Martial and Hoyland, I would put Martial up top and Hoyland on the right and Garnacho on the left.
Hoyland on the right.
Okay.
I think he could play right wing.
Hoyland could play right wing. I think It's something that we haven't tried yet, if I'm being honest with you, but it can possibly work.
You remember when
Martial's a
Lukaku?
false
You remember
nine, mate.
during Ole's interim when Lukaku played right wing?
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
They're very similar. I think obviously put him at striker because we don't have forget that. But I'm just saying, if you want to put Martial and Haaland together, that's the best way to use them together, in my opinion.
I mean, I do think Martial has the capabilities of bringing people into the game, so it could definitely work, no doubt about it.
But you need a proper right back that can hold the width, though. Like you need.
Yeah. I want that can actually overlap and cross. That'd be nice for a change.
Yeah.
Not very nice, is it, sadly? But yeah,
No, that's a shout. That's a shout. But yeah, man, give predictions. I'm gonna go Man United to win 2-1. 2-1 United win. It's probably sitting on the fence on there. You know what I mean? It's just an easy kind of game. Usman, give me your prediction and let me know in the comments below. Please like the video, people. There isn't enough likes in the video, man. I don't know what you guys are doing, man. You just, I know you're supporting the channel, but we need your likes. We need your likes, people. Hit the like button, people. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, obviously, listen, people, it's free, man. Come on. Support the man. He's always doing the uploads every single day, man. And he's going to be at the game as well. Man, that's absolutely shocking. And Sai's still there, home and away, supporting the team and bringing you guys content. Obviously, match reaction and all that. So make sure you subscribe because that Nuruddin one was an absolute banger, to be fair. But it is what it is. Yeah, for me, I'm going to join you on the fence side 2-1.
2-1, yeah. Okay, cool. What are you saying, bro?
I'll change it.
Michael, what are you saying?
You guys want 2-1? I'll go 2-0. I think we keep a clean sheet.
Wow.
Boys.
That's brave.
It's a rarity.
That's brave, Michael. That's brave. I can't lie.
But last time we lost a Champions League match, we kept a clean sheet after. So maybe we keep the streak going.
I like that. That's a good fact. I like that.
Yeah.
We take it.
I just hope we get the win, man. And get out there.
God,
that's what.
Give me 3 points, man. Imagine we go into international break side, bottom of Champions League group, and in the bottom half of the Premier League. You know how bleak that's going to be. That's going to be mental. 2 weeks of just pure chaos, man.
Yeah, but we will be there. We will be there, man. Hopefully, we will be there for the right reasons. Guys, make sure you like the video. Big up to everybody who's locked in. Make sure you're following Usman Talks United. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, Michael Griggs Talks. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, Sunny Talks, that sports guy, Danny Devils in Detail. Make sure you support everyone's channels. And make sure you hit the like button, people, man. Like I said, it's been a good show, been a good debate. Like I said, Fridays, we always have our debate show, so tell a friend to tell a friend. And yeah, man, we'll see you on the next one, people. Take care. Bye-bye. And peace.